Fox's senior correspondent Steve Harrigan is on the ground. Steve, this is getting serious here.
Laura, this is a battle really that keeps moving. Before it was in front of the detention center, and now it's moved to the highway. That's the 101 there. As you mentioned, it's really a key artery for downtown L.A. to get to other arteries. We've seen those protesters move down and block off the southbound route. Police have been hurried there. You see the Mexican flag there being waved, and they're being pushed aside. They tried to block the northbound as well, but they failed. It just goes to show the police really have to defend this entire highway. This is not the first time it happened. It happened Sunday at a different spot. But 4 p.m., rush hour, L.A. traffic, you got to figure there's a lot of angry people in those vehicles down there. And this has not been a quiet day. We're hearing a lot about nonviolent protests. Well, if you stand here, you hear explosions. We've heard 3 of them in the past several hours. Fireworks being fired at National Guard. You hear another one right there. Water bottles being thrown at National Guard. And flashbangs used in retaliation by the National Guard. There's also looting. We wondered when or if it was going to start. Well, it certainly has started. Overnight Monday, a lot of looting. The Apple store looted, a sneaker store, a legal marijuana distributor, a jewelry store. His business, he said, was absolutely ruined, an immigrant himself. As they try and clear this highway now, we have seen 3 large LAPD buses come in. And it looks like they're for prisoners. They have cages on them. They were empty when we saw them come in. So we're looking at arrests about to go up here. There's been about 160 over the weekend. That could be a lot more soon, as briefly now for about 20 minutes, these demonstrators have managed to block off once again a key artery in Los Angeles. Laura, back to you.
All right, Steve. This is insane. Steve, when you watch this play out, like, we've heard people on some of the other networks go on and on about how this was, look, nothing's happening here. There was literally someone on another network who was a reporter standing in front of the National Guard saying, look, nothing's happening. This is peaceful. But you're there, you're witnessing what's going on. And then in, 5 or 10 minutes later, you start hearing explosions. You start seeing the police and the National Guard try to move the protesters back because they had to actually move vehicles out of the federal ICE facility there, vehicles that they need to keep order. So, Steve, the description of the peaceful protest, that's completely out the window.
It's just not accurate. And if you stood here for a few hours, you'd see it's not accurate. You'd see water bottles or pieces of concrete fly in the air. And keep in mind, you can say non-lethal force or it's only fireworks. When you hear these things explode and you're a police officer or a National Guard soldier, you don't know what it is. You just know that someone is throwing something either on fire or exploding in your direction. And that has happened 3 times in the past 2 hours here this afternoon.
Steve, there was concern earlier today that there weren't a lot of arrests happening. That you saw in real time, authorities were seeing individuals throwing projectiles at the officers, yet no arrests. And that was surprising to the people on the ground narrating this. No arrests, and yet obvious violence. And if that continues to be tolerated, what's the message to people who want to just bandwagon and join in on the so-called fun here? And some of these people just do think this is a form of recreation.
It is stunning to see some of the extreme video that we have seen. When you saw that one man who they've identified now, as we can begin to taste a little tear gas in the air, that one man who they've identified throwing rock after rock at passing officers' vehicles, one after another, and how he's able to do that and how he's not stopped is just, as an American, it's stunning to watch how you can get away with throwing rocks through the windows of traveling police cars.
All right, Steve, thank you very much.